You'd agree? You'd agree? All right. You'd all agree that we're good friends. Yeah, but it wasn't always like that. We haven't always been friends. It's true. She knows. We haven't always been friends. We haven't been friends, but we've always been siblings. She has always been my older sister, and when we were the furthest from friends that perhaps two people could have been, I was always her brother. I was still her brother. And all of us have these flexible relationships, especially with siblings, within our family, and the relationship between a brother and sister is maybe the most roller coaster-esque, because you grow up together and you have different feelings and different emotions, and it can be pretty rocky. So, well, you know, when you're 3, when you're 8, when you're 14 years old, things change between kids. Sometimes we're friends. Sometimes we're these fuming, rage-filled enemies who do a really bad job of expressing our feelings in that particular moment. So first, for me, Kennedy was my adoring big sister, who at 2 years old was ready for some new adventures with a newborn, who was me. Pretty soon, she was my boss. And I was her underpaid and probably underappreciated employee. As I was still getting used to how my body moved in a 3-dimensional space, she was giving me a laundry list of things to do. You know, hand me that crayon, Jordan. Bring me those cookies, maybe put on these old girl clothes of mine, and just sit there while I pretend to be the teacher in this one-room schoolhouse. It was our basement. So Kennedy was my teacher, both imaginary and real. Over the years, she was my agitator and my foil. She was my devil's advocate. She was my super cool big sister. She was my most hated person in the world. She was also my partner in 2-person self-written stage plays. And she was my partner in crime. As we got into our teens and closer to adulthood, she was my occasional beer purchaser. She was my travel buddy. She was my grand advisor. She has always been my sister, but for a few minutes at a time, or a few days or weeks, depending on how long our moods would last, she was all of these other things to me. And sometimes a few of them at the same time. But aside from sister, which she will always be, I think she spent more time as a friend than any of those other things. And now she has James. And I have James. We all have James. Our family all has James. And James was a stranger, as we all begin. James was a stranger, then he was some faceless British guy who was dating my sister. Then he was a British guy with a little hobbit face who was dating my sister. Then he was something of a drinking buddy, you know. And as you hang out, you know, it's usually over some sort of drink or something. And then after, you know, you have a few drinks with him, then he's not just some guy who's dating your sister, but James is a friend. And where he was a stranger before, you know, he's a friend to all of us in the family. And today, if you're into titles and that sort of important stuff, he's a brother-in-law, he's a son-in-law, It's all very legal, our relationship now. But he is still a friend, you know, and that doesn't have to change. And a lot of us here were strangers before today, or some of us have been introduced to each other over the last couple days. And now our family has some swanky London flats, I assume, that we can like stay at from time to time. If you guys want to come back to Canada, I mean, our rooms are pretty cheap as well. You know, you can come back and make sure the colony is operating as it should. Yeah, so where we were all strangers before, now we're family, now we're friends, and that's great. As a married person myself, I can provide this to you as advice at the start of your marriage. What I have learned in my 4 long months of marriage is that your role will change. Who you will be to the other person will change. What each of you needs of the other person, you know, from moment to moment will change. And looking at the two of you, you already have your own stories and flexible roles within your relationship. At first, you may have been, you know, casual acquaintances, and then not so casual acquaintances. Maybe you're quietly dating and not telling anyone, and then you're, you know, dating publicly and updating your social media feeds together as well. You know, so you're each other's boo, your cohabitors, your co-signers of a loan, perhaps, your fiancés, and then by default, your wedding and party planners. And today, your spouses, or for the old-fashioned, your husband and wife. But it won't stop there, it shouldn't stop there. You have many hats that you will continue to wear. Who you are to each other will change, whether you are dining partners or dog walkers, or an emergency contact, perhaps. Kennedy will definitely be James's emergency contact, and he will be hers. But whatever of the many roles that you will find yourselves in for a few minutes or hours here or there over the years, I hope you get to spend most of your time as great friends. As I've spent so many years as great friends with Kennedy. So I hope that for both of you, and I hope that for our families, and if everybody wants to get a glass, please raise it, and toast to the bride and groom. Great friends. Thank you very much. Woo!
Jordan, that was very well said. Next up to continue our speeches, we have James's brother.